Hello guys, and welcome to a new Still Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 in a best of 3 between YueJin and Gonzo, and this is the grand final of Chickendew's European tournament. In the last game we saw Gonzo take it rather convincingly against YueJin, YueJin surrendering in about 17 minutes. He lost with his 15th Infantry Scots versus Gonzo's 2nd Panzer. And yeah, it was quite a convincing victory for Gonzo indeed. However, I feel like there were a few things that YueJin could have done better to sort of throw things more in his favour and make that less of such a severe defeat. But honestly, Gonzo played very well, and it was interesting to watch him use the Borgvards to surrender multiple infantry in the town, which he then utilised and took for himself. In this one, we're going to be seeing Omaha, so it's not show. And on the Allied side today, YueJin's going to be taking out the 1st Panzer and Gonzo the 116th Panzer. Now, this is really awesome to see because YueJin, throughout multiple tournaments, has used the 1st Panzer to fantastic effect. And Gonzo with the 116th Panzer is his signature division. So we should be in for a good one. Let's have a look at some of the units going down. On this top side, we do see the SBW 232 accompanying a Panzer 3M. Behind that, we have the 258, and there's also some Panzergrens there. On the bottom side, it's going to be more Panzergrens, 232, and an AT gun. Rather interesting start, honestly, because you can see how little units there are on the field at the start here. He's probably going to put money into, or the reinforcement points into the Storch at the start, which is why you're probably seeing less units than you would otherwise expect. But it's interesting to see if anything will head towards the mid here, so that he doesn't lose a salient to YueJin. On the side of YueJin, he is building up his infantry. Looks like he's going for some recon on the top side with some Dragoni. Then further down we have some Streltsy. We'll have the command carrier there with an AT gun. Further down, 2 more Streltsy. On the bottom side, it's going to be a larger push for YueJin for sure. He's got a Staghound down here accompanied by this recon. He's also got the AT gun, 2 units of Streltsy, and the command. Off we go. So this is going to be the push that we're going to have to look out for from YueJin. He is going to have that Staghound come up against a 232 and an AT gun. It's really going to be up to Gonzo to get this AT gun on the target of the Staghound early on. Otherwise that Staghound could present a rather large threat moving forwards, because if YueJin plays around this properly, he can get his infantry to run down the AT gun, and then he can have his Staghound take out the 232, and that'll basically allow him to push all the way through. On this top side, Storch is not revealing anything significant just yet. M5 half-track getting out of the way to basically unload those Dragoni. We do see the 6-pounder has been unloaded here, but a very odd position for the 6-pounder to be unloaded. I'm a bit concerned about that, honestly. I would have liked to have seen it closer to Gonzo's convoy here. But Gonzo, honestly, is going to spot the universal carrier, and that will tell him that the AT gun might be here if he hasn't seen the AT gun already. Now we do see a unit of infantry die to these units on the top side without getting anything in reply, and that's very bad indeed. Dragoni here, they're going to get pinned down by the 258. The 258 is using a fire position, or at least it was, managed to pin down the Dragoni. Now it's just a matter of time until this 251-1 goes and pins him down. So YueJin going to be forced back, and the Panzergrens have taken that position. So YueJin losing ground on this top side, and then come the Flam Panzers for Gonzo. Looks like he's got his eye on this top side. We're going to have to see if he can break through significantly, because currently this AT gun's in a very awful position. We can see this Storch has actually flown all the way over towards the spawn. Like, the use of these recon aircraft from Gonzo is absolutely insane. He's just surrendered these Dragoni before they got into a building, so that's going to get rid of any AT capability on the top side of the map. Even this YueJin here, it can't do anything to the 232. Basically, it's enclosed, so the grenades from the YueJin won't really do too much. 258 going to be unloading onto the 6-pounder very shortly. We do see a Cromwell 5 being brought in as well, but it's really up to the 6-pounder to find the kill onto that 258 before it can basically pin down the 6-pounder, because then he can contain this push coming out of Gonzo. But the 6-pounder is going to be pinned down. Now it's up to the Cromwell 5 to make the move instead. 6-pounder in the mid here did manage to fire once at this half track, but wasn't successful in getting the kill. Command carrier goes down in the mid. Flampanzer now coming in there. And on this bottom side, while Pack 38 is still sitting with the 232, it looks like the Staghound went down here. You know, never mind, that was the carrier. Where is the Staghound gone? It must have got killed as well along the way, maybe to the AT gun. Cromwell 5 is being pushed back on this top side. The 3-star Panzer III is getting shots on target, accompanied by this 232. Very, very nice use of command there by Gonzo to isolate this Cromwell 5. Another AT gun is on the way, but he's going to have to make sure that that unloads and can take care of these two units before this Cromwell 5 dies, or the 6-pounder dies as well. The 258, that's going to be fire positioning towards the 6-pounder already. We do see that one of the half-tracks does go down to the 6-pounder, but on this bottom side, the 232 has actually been taken out by the 6-pounder. So now all this infantry and the universal carrier can push pretty hard down here without much contesting them. That infantry is still going to be pretty hard to dislodge, that's in his way, but on this top side in the meantime, 6-pounder, can it get the shot? No, it can't. Oh, that is just devastating. 6-pounder pinned down. Cromwell 5 is going to be pinned down as well. 6-pounder does manage to force back the 258. This Panzer III, though, only a matter of time until that finds a shot, a killing blow onto this Cromwell 5. It only has 7 front armor versus the 10 AP. And it has a 3-star veterancy. It should start hitting soon enough. I think honestly there, though, it did miss 2 shots in a row. It's probably due to the fact that it's a bit worried. Oh, there we go. Shooter knocked out. Can he finally get the kill? We'll have to wait and see. Oh, it's going to be bounced again. 6-pounder is going to be opening up onto the 258, but the 232 is actually in range, so that's going to be able to open up with its 20mm autocannon, and that means that the 6-pounder is very dead. Torch still flying around here. I'm very surprised not to see a Hurricane, honestly. I think a Hurricane could deal with both the 258 and maybe even the 232, and also shoot down the Storch. So a few uses there that would probably work out quite well in YueJin's favour. Meanwhile, however, on this bottom side, infantry is making some ground, but 232 reinforcement has come in, as well as a couple units of infantry there, just to slow things down. Hurricane does come in, but the Hurricane was like too close to the Storch, didn't have enough time to get the kill, and we do finally see this Panzer III secure the Cromwell kill. So the Hurricane will likely shoot down the Storch. Now we've got to see this Hurricane take care of the 232 and the 258, so that these AT guns can get into position and start enclosing on these units on the top side. This 6-pounder, however, has been pinned down by these Panzer Grenadiers that are in hard cover, so that's going to be very hard for YueJin to dislodge, but very nice kill there onto the Flampanzer with his infantry. His infantry do get surrendered, but they manage to get the kill before they die. Streltsy here going to be coming up against Panzer Grenadiers, not too much he can do about that. This 6-pounder is kind of falling back in a pretty dodgy position here. He's going to have to make sure that the Hurricane pins down these Panzer Guns sooner than later, and maybe he can use the command carrier to take them out. However, with all of these forces now piling towards the mid, these AT guns are completely out of position, and I would very much like to see them picked up by the universal carriers and the command carriers there to get them closer to these units sooner than later, because this 6-pounder is being overwhelmed, these units are being overwhelmed, and well, there goes the command infantry to the 20mm autocannon. The command carrier will be soon to follow. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, YueJin still has made a little bit of ground, but this 6-pounder under threat from the Panzer Grenadiers, and there is nothing he can do about that. This 6-pounder does find a shot onto the 258, which was nice. Maybe these 6-pounders can get into position to slow this down. Currently a +1 for Gonzo on the board, and it's going to be interesting moving into the next phase when YueJin picks up more income than Gonzo. Maybe he can start flooding in things like Cromwells in order to counter the current things on the map, like the 232 here, the Panzer III, 232, and so on. There is a Panzerwerfer being brought up by Gonzo, which is interesting. He's going to be trying to get line of sight onto these AT guns, and take them out with volleys from that Panzerwerfer, which is quite a nice idea. Half-tracks are pushing into the mid, Flam Panzer coming up as well. We can see that, well, both of the other Flam Panzers we saw coming both died. This one is a reinforcement, might be able to clean up the Streltsy, however even the 251 might be able to do that on its own. This Panzer III causing issues at the moment. YueJin coming back towards him with a Staghound, just going to try and cut off as much territory as he can, keep it as close to a +1 as possible because he doesn't want to be bleeding too many points in the early phases. Flam Panzer is going to be fire positioning, I assume, onto those buildings, which is interesting. Now going to be fast moving past. I reckon those Streltsy will reveal themselves because they're not on return fire, and then the Flam Panzer can fire away, surrender them, and that will be job done there. Okay, so Streltsy gone. Staghound's now going to be looking for the kill onto the Panzer III or the 232. Is that on an attack move? It is. Is he watching it though? That's the other question. Because this is going to get double teamed, especially at close range. This 232 can absolutely annihilate the Staghound. Okay, weapon jammer onto the Staghound, and that is out of commission. That means the 232 and Panzer III are free to drive around the corner. Staghound cannot fire, and that's all she wrote. Goodbye, Staghound. On the bottom side, what's going on down here? We do see a half-track being taken out. It looks like the Dragoni did manage to unload, so not all is lost. Stuart 5 might be able to take out this 232. Does get the ammo storage hit, which is pretty nice. But YueJin has a lot of work to do. The Hurricane, I feel, was a little bit late. That in the mid there is absolutely tragic, though. Half-track goes down, but the infantry surrender once again. It just seems that like Gonzo is trading very, very well with his forces. I mean, killing a rifle squad for a half-track is not necessarily trading well, but the fact that it gives him so much territory is the main issue here. Now Stuart 5 does manage to clean up the 232, so making itself back some ground. On the bottom side, Stuart 5 almost dealt with this 232 as well. Pack 38 though, going to be taking shots at that Stuart and doing the damage. YueJin, however, had a different thought, and that is to surrender. So after 9 minutes and 37 seconds, game is over, and honestly, pretty premature. It's unfortunate. Gonzo and YueJin had like an epic series in, I think it was round 2 of the tournament, where Gonzo lost 2-0 to YueJin. Gonzo coming back strong in this series, that's for sure, to win 2-0 against YueJin. To win Chickendew's European tournament. Congratulations to Gonzo and commiseration to YueJin, who I felt in both of these games maybe gave up a little bit too soon. There is definitely room to come back against the 116th Panzer if you don't lose that hard in Phase A. And I feel like in the other game against the 2nd Panzer, yes, the 150 points per minute from YueJin was pretty unstoppable on the 2nd Panzer, but it's just a matter of holding as much ground as you can and then pushing back in the later phase when the income is really low. Anyway, we can see the kill death, 750 kills to 430 losses for Gonzo, vice versa for YueJin. I think it's a shame how this turned out, because these 6-pounders, I like how YueJin responds to the pushes that Gonzo does. He brings in an excessive amount of what he needs in order to counter Gonzo's push, and I think it's a good idea, but I feel like the micro on the AT guns could have been a bit better. Maybe use those carriers to pick up the 6-pounders and move them more, make them less predictable, and then you can stop Gonzo playing around them so much with the fast move and maybe get some shots on target. It's easier said than done, of course, but still. Also, against 116th, I feel like buying a Hurricane straight off the bat would have been a perfect idea, because the Hurricane is actually really good against open top vehicles like the 258s, and if you can shut down the 258s, then his 6-pounders are fine, and they're going to be able to counter the vehicles that Gonzo's putting out. So I think, honestly, considering YueJin knew Gonzo's, well, what Gonzo's going to do, like if he brings out a Storch early on, then you know, he gets a kill easy with the Hurricane, gets himself 60 points from Gonzo, as well as has that fire support for whatever Gonzo throws at him. And I feel like that would have been a nice investment at the start. Anyway, it looks like YueJin tried, got frustrated, unfortunately surrendered. In terms of losses, Panzer III did well, killing off the Cromwell 5 eventually. It took a sweet time though. Pack 38 on the bottom side did kill that Staghound, also cleaned up the command carrier and the universal carrier. 232. Those both did a lot of work. The Flampanzers, however, did not. Yes, they managed to surrender a couple units, but in general, those Flampanzers actually didn't do very well at all. Panzerwerfer did take out the 6-pounder towards the end as well. But that's it. That's your lot. It's unfortunate that it was a kind of anticlimactic game 2 in this best of 3. We're not going to be seeing a third game. But still, congratulations to Gonzo, who basically crawled his way through the lower bracket, all the way back to the final, to defeat YueJin, the person who put him in the lower bracket in the first place. I think that is some sweet revenge right there for Gonzo, and he's definitely showed how good he is at Still Division. And you guys have been saying how much you enjoy watching him. Well, once again, the 116th comes out strong. I'm yet to see somebody significantly counter this. And, well, it'll be just a matter of time. We'll have to wait for more competitive games, which I'm sure to bring you in the future. But until then, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.